All right, listen up, because I ain't sugarcoating this for you. Black Lagoon ain't some mindless shoot 'em up anime. It's a masterclass in what happens when society rules don't apply and you left to figure out your own damn code. You ever felt like life is just throwing you into chaos where the so-called good and the bad are nothing but bullshit labels slapped on by people who never lived outside of their bubble? That's Black Lagoon world. No laws, no real justice, just survival and a whole lot of hard choices. If you are here waiting for someone to hand you a rule book for life, newsflash, there ain't one. And if you don't figure out your own personal code, the kind that holds up with everything around you when life turns to hell, you're gonna get chewed up and spit out. Black Lagoon is raw, ugly, and brutally honest, just like real life. And the crew, they don't play by society rules, because when the world is lawless, your choices define who you really are. This episode ain't just talk. We're breaking down actually what Black Lagoon teaches about holding on to your ethics in a ruleless world. So buckle the hell up, because we're about to throw your old way of thinking straight into the fire. Hey there, I'm Michael Rashad Yerby, and let me get straight to it. I spent over 2 decades in the trenches running maintenance operations in the United States Air Force. Yay me. I got a master's degree in organizational management, and as a master sergeant with 23 years of service, I know exactly what moves people to greatness. Listen, I know you're tired of the motivational cliches you heard, the same recycled speeches about hard work, dedication, and staying positive. But what if the secret finally to leveling up in your life has been hidden in your favorite anime this whole damn time? See, my job isn't just talking. I'm here to hand you real gems, the lessons you should have been taught but never were. I break down powerful stories and actionable insights that anime has taught me about leadership, resilience, and standing up on your own 2 feet when the world is stacked against you. So buckle up, and I guarantee you will never look at anime or your own life the same way again. And before we get into it, support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, like, and share button. Now let's get to work. Today we're diving into the raw, no holds barred breakdown of Black Lagoon. Teaches us about ethics in a world where the rules don't mean jack. We're talking about survival, mortality, and what happens when the only law that matters is the one you create for yourself. You might think you know right from wrong, but when the stakes get real and the lines get blurred, what do you actually do? Would you hold on to your so-called principles, or would you adapt to chaos? Trust me, this episode is gonna flip your perspective side down. So you ever felt like life is just throwing you into situations where the rules don't apply? Stick around. By the end of this, you will understand exactly why finding your personal code is the difference between getting played and playing the game. Let's jump right in. Point 1. The illusion of right and wrong. Let's get something straight. Right and wrong ain't as black and white as you've been told. That's a fairy tale people tell themselves to sleep at night. In Black Lagoon, you got criminals, mercenaries, and corporate scumbags all playing by their own rules. So who the hell is actually the good guy here? Revy, Rock, Dutch, Benny? None of them fit the cookie cutter hero mold, but you can't help root for them anyway, because deep down you know the world doesn't reward morality, it rewards survival. And that's the problem, ain't it? People walk around thinking life is fair, that if they do the right thing, things will magically work out. But what happens when you're thrown into a system that doesn't give a damn about your morals? What then? What happens when the people in charge bend the rules while expecting you to follow them? That's where most people break. They either fold under pressure or wake up and realize you got to define your own code and stand on it. Stand on business. Black Lagoon forces you to ask the hard question. If the world doesn't play fair, why the hell should you? And no, that doesn't mean being a cutthroat, backstabber, piece of trash. I'm saying you need your own room. It means recognizing that the lines between right and wrong aren't fixed. They move depending on who's in control. The real power, knowing when to bend the rules and when to break them. Now, maybe you're sitting there thinking, I'll never do anything shady. I got morals. What happens when life puts you in a corner? What happens when you're playing by the rules gets you nowhere? That's when your real ethics come out. And Black Lagoon teaches us exactly how to navigate that. Point number 2, survival ain't pretty, but it's necessary. Let me hit you with something real. Survival doesn't give a damn about your feelings. You either adapt or you get eaten alive. Black Lagoon throws you into a world where weakness gets you killed and hesitation is a death sentence. The crew doesn't survive because they're the strongest or the smartest. They survive because they understand the game and play it without flinching. Look at Rock. He starts off as a corporate drone, thinking his company will protect him because he played by the rule. But guess what? The moment he became an inconvenience, they threw his ass overboard. That's the world we live in. Loyalty means nothing to the people who see you as a tool. So when Rock gets taken in by the Lagoon Company, he has 2 choices. Cling to the fake sense of security he used to have, or adapt and find his own way. Now, let me ask you, how many times have you been in a situation where you thought doing things the right way would keep you safe, only to get screwed over? Maybe at work, maybe in relationships, maybe in life in general. If you're waiting for someone to come save you, you're already losing. Black Lagoon doesn't sugarcoat it. If you want to survive, you want better, stop expecting the world to be a safe and fair space and start making moves to protect yourself. Ain't nobody coming to save you. That's the cold, hard truth. The sooner you understand that, the sooner you can start building your own damn safety net. And Black Lagoon shows us exactly how to do that. Let's talk about what it really means to create your own code. Point 3, creating your own code, because nobody's gonna hand you one. Here's the deal. If you don't have a code, the world will give you one. And trust me, it won't be in your favor. You ever notice how in Black Lagoon, everybody got their own set of rules? Revy doesn't give a damn about morality, but she's loyal to the crew. Dutch runs things like a business, no emotion, just logic. Benny plays it safe using his brains to stay alive. And Rock struggle because he's caught between the world he came from and the world he's in now. And that's exactly where most people get stuck. You out here living by the rules that don't even serve you. You're doing what you were taught to do instead of what actually works for your life. And the moment those rules fail you, because they will, you don't know what the hell to do next. That's why so many people crumble under pressure, why they freeze when shit hits the fan, because they never sat down and decided what they truly stand for. Your code ain't just right and wrong. It's about what are you willing to fight for and what you'll never compromise on. And let me tell you, if you don't set those rules for yourself, someone else will set them for you, and you won't like the outcome. At the end of the day, your personal code is all you got. The world won't follow your rules, so you better have ones that can hold up no matter where life throws you. And that brings us to the next lesson. Power isn't about being the strongest. It's about knowing when to pull the trigger. Point 4, power ain't about strength. It's about knowing when to pull the trigger. Let me make this clear. Power isn't about how hard you hit. It's about knowing when to swing. Revy, she didn't just shoot for fun. She pulls the trigger when it matters. Dutch, he doesn't throw punches unless it's necessary. That's real power. Knowing when to act and when to hold back. Now think about your own life. How many times have you let people walk all over you because you were too scared to push back? Maybe at work, maybe in relationships, maybe with so-called friends who take advantage of you. You keep waiting for the right moment to stand up for yourself. But let me tell you something. Hesitation is the enemy of power. Black Lagoon teaches us over and over again. The people who survive aren't always the strongest, but they're the ones who know when to make a move. They don't let fear keep them frozen. They don't waste time second guessing every little decision. They act when it counts. So here's the lesson. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment to take control of your life, you'll be waiting forever. Power isn't just given, it's taken. You either make the decision or the decision gets made for you. So what's it gonna be? You're gonna keep sitting back hoping life hands you power you deserve? Or you're gonna step up and take it? Because the next lesson is even harder. Real strength comes from embracing the ugly parts of yourself, not running from them. Point 5, real strength comes from embracing the ugly parts of yourself. Look, everybody wants to believe they're a good person, that they'll do the right thing when it counts, that they're better than the person who takes shortcuts, lie, cheat, or break rules. But let's be real. What happens when life pushes you into the corner? What happens when doing the right thing costs you everything? Black Lagoon makes you confront that truth. Revy knows she's got demons, and she doesn't pretend to be anything she's not. On the other hand, he fights himself. He wants to believe he's still the good guy. But little by little, he starts realizing that the line between good and bad is bullshit. The real fight isn't about being perfect. It's about accepting the part of yourself that you don't want to face and make them work for you, not against you. How many times have you let guilt stop you from making a move? How often do you hold back because you don't want to be seen as selfish or too aggressive or not nice enough? Man, screw that. If you always putting yourself second, you're the one getting played. Black Lagoon teaches you that real strength comes from accepting that you're not perfect, that you got an edge, and that sometimes the only way to survive is to lean into it. So what is it gonna be? Keep pretending you're something you're not, or finally owning who the hell you are. Because the next lesson is the one that most people don't want to hear. Loyalty means nothing unless it's backed up by action. Point 6, loyalty ain't words, it's action. Let me tell you something that most people won't admit to. Loyalty ain't about what you say, it's about what you do when shit gets real. You ever notice how in Black Lagoon, nobody's out here making big speeches about friendship, honor, and loyalty? Because in their world, talk is cheap. The only thing that matters is what you would do when the pressure's on. Dutch runs the crew like a business, but when it comes down to it, he got their back. Benny, he stays in his lane, but he's reliable when it counts. Revy, she may act like she doesn't care, but when push comes to shove, she's putting herself on the line for her own. And Rock, well, Rock has to learn the hard way that just saying you're loyal doesn't mean a damn thing if your actions don't back it up. Now think about your own life. How many people have told you they got your back, only to disappear the moment you needed them? And be honest, how many times have you told someone you're loyal, but when things got inconvenient, you weren't there? Go ahead, I'll wait. See, Black Lagoon doesn't romanticize loyalty. It forces you to understand that real loyalty costs something. It ain't about convenience. It's about showing up when it's ugly, when it's dangerous, when it's hard. That's the kind of loyalty that builds unbreakable bonds. So let's be real. Are you loyal, or are you just saying the words? Because your loyalty disappears when things get tough. It never existed in the first place. And that brings us to the final, hardest lesson. Your past don't define you, but if you don't face it, it'll own you. Point 7, your past doesn't define you, but if you don't face it, it will own you. Here's the cold hard truth. You can't outrun your past. You can't bury it, ignore it, pretend it never happened, but at the end of the day, it's still sitting there waiting to take control the moment you slip. Black Lagoon makes this painfully clear. Every character is running from something, but the ones who survive, they face it head on. Revi grew up in hell. She was dealt a bad hand, and instead of breaking under it, she turned that rage into power. Dutch came from war and built something for himself instead of letting his past dictate his future. And Rock spent most of the series trying to figure out if he's going to keep pretending he's the same guy he was, or if he's finally going to own who he has become. And that's where most people fail. You keep telling yourself you're not like those people. You hold on to this ideal of you think you're supposed to be instead of accepting who you actually are. But here's the thing. Growth doesn't come from running. It comes from facing the ugliest parts of yourself and deciding what the hell you're going to do with them. So let me ask you, are you running or are you owning your story? Because if you don't take control of your past, I promise you, it'll take control of you. At the end of the day, your past is just a story until you let it define you. So what are you going to do? Keep making excuses or finally take the wheel? Because now it's time to bring it all together. So let's break this down one last time. Life ain't fair. The rules are bullshit. And if you don't figure out your own code, you're gonna get played. Black Lagoon teaches us that right and wrong aren't written in stone. They shift depending on who's in control. If you don't define your ethics, somebody else will do it for you. And I guarantee it won't be in your favor. We talked about how survival ain't pretty, but it's necessary. How power isn't about strength, it's about knowing when to pull the damn trigger. We broke down how real strength comes from embracing the parts of yourself you don't like. Because if you keep running from them, they'll own you. And loyalty isn't a word, it's action. If you're not showing up when it matters, you're just another fraud talking a big game. And finally, the hardest truth. Your past doesn't define you. But if you don't face it, it controls every damn move you make. The choice is yours. You can keep playing by the rules, and that doesn't serve you. You can wake up, wake the hell up, and build your own code and start living on your own terms. So here's the question. Are you gonna keep making excuses, or are you gonna step up and take control? Because if you're waiting for permission to start living your own life on your own terms, you're already losing. Listen, nobody is coming to save you. Not your boss, not your parents, not society, and sure as hell, not some imaginary system that rewards good behavior. You either take control or you get controlled. The reality, and Black Lagoon lays it out, the world doesn't play fair, so stop expecting it to. I know some of you are sitting there thinking, but what if I don't want to play dirty? What if I don't want to be like them? That's fine, but you better have a plan. You better know where your line is, and you better be ready to stand on it, because if you don't, life will push you right over. If this episode hits you in the gut, a good gut punch, that means it's time to wake the hell up. Stop waiting, stop hesitating, figure out your own code, own your choices, and when life throws you into chaos, don't fold. Stand your ground and make your own damn rules. And before you go, hit the subscribe button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below. What's the one rule you live by no matter what? Let's get this discussion started, man, for real. Like, this is a topic that's really important because a lot of people play, that fiddle role. I'm Michael Yerby, and that has been a Momentum Monday. Now get out there and make some damn moves. Peace.